So now I'm just going to go on to personal branding. Everyone familiar with these icons? Anyone?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone that doesn't know anything on there? No, you all know them? Okay, so what I just wanted to show here was that we can all identify with brands through logos. Okay, so if I look at the TikTok icon, that is, to me, it looks like a musical note. But we know that's TikTok. When we look at Amazon, we know that just that picture is Amazon. Okay, so these logos represent businesses, and 2 of them on there, actually 3 of them, Starbucks as well, doesn't actually mention the brand, but you know what it is. So I'm just highlighting here how your personal brand can be. So if you, is the first impression. So if you show up and you've got something unique about you, or what, you know, for me, everyone knows me about my hair. I'm Claire with the hair. That's become my part of my personal brand. So it's just that identification between you and what you represent. And we go on to some more detail about this, but just I'll give you an idea. Again, here are some celebrities. Does everyone know these celebrities? Anyone you don't know on there?
No, everybody.
Yep. Know everybody. Okay, so Anthony Joshua, famous for boxing. When you see him, you automatically think of boxing. Justin Bieber, okay, he's got the backstory of being a young entertainer, and then sort of going through his stages up and down in his life. Kim Kardashian, unfortunately for her, it's her body part that is her biggest brand. It's everyone talks about her hips and her butt. Ant and Dec, famous for being a duo. Okay, so these are all things that when you see these people, you automatically connect something with them. Okay, so personal brand. What is a personal brand? So it's the creating a positive impression, increasing your visibility, your reputation, and your trust. It can be influencing others. So we all do that really on social media. It's also, you know, it's you as a person and what you're showing up as. So it's the qualities that you bring. Why are you different for others? And these are all things that a potential employer are going to look to you for. You know, why are you unique? What separates you from the other candidates they've seen that day? You know, how can you make that impression that's going to stick in their minds, they're going to remember you at the end of the day when they're doing their summary? You know, it's that sort of first impression where you come in the door, you're smiling, you greet them, and you might connect with them in some way. All right, so personal brand does create that competitive edge as well, and helps you to stand out. If you got it right with your clothes, your appearance, something you're doing, a gesture, people will remember you. Okay, so these are the steps, if you like, that I'm gonna go through that will help you along the way. So step 1, creating the personal brand. What's your why? What makes you different from everyone else? What is unique about you? And I'd just like you to now to grab some paper and a pen. And I know David and Yvonne, you've done this exercise, but this is a shortened version just of the time. But it'd be good to just sort of revisit it now. So I want you to just write down, and I'll say the questions out aloud, and you just jot down the first thing that comes into your mind. So first question, what skills do I have? Just write them down, just list them. Don't have to write the question, just write your answers in list format. And then which skills are unique to you that are different from everyone else? What are your core motivations? So what makes you get up in the morning? What gives you energy? What keeps you focused and says, yeah, I want to carry on? What motivates you? What are you passionate about? So, you know, what would you spend your day doing all day, every day? What would you spend your weeks doing? What are you most passionate about? And what unique experience have shaped who you are today? And what makes you stand out? So what is that unique? What have you got that maybe no one else, you know, in your connection, in your circle of friends, what's unique about you? What makes you stand out from your peers? And then lastly, just think about who you can serve. Who is it that you want to help? Who are you interested in helping? Who are you already helping? Again, just jot them down, the first things that come into your mind. Who, if you could help anyone tomorrow, who would it be? Who do you think would value, you know, your help and support the most? And what I want you to do is just look back through your answers now and then circle or highlight all the words that are connected or duplicated. So just focus on the words where you've got a connection. Some of the similar words, you know, is it volunteering, passion? What do you have down 3 or 4 times? So call those words. If you start to see a pattern, what is that pattern? What's the common theme in the words that you've written down? Now, what you've just done there is the start of your purpose and some of your values. Okay, so they're the things that you've just jotted down. First thing that comes to your mind that you are most passionate about. Now, would anyone like to share their common words or any sort of common themes that they've seen from their words?
I can start. I've got the one that keeps coming through was supporting others, listening, and positive relationships and family.
Excellent. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing. Anyone else?
I got family. Well,
sorry, Stuart, what was that?
I come with family.
Family. Yep. Okay. So that will start to tell you what your values are, you know, for family, supporting others, you know, that even if, you know, whatever job you find or what you want to do, you know, you need to get the family balance right. You need, you know, you're supporting your family. Your income may support your family. That's going to be your number one goal. Your purpose and your passion and the values will all sort of, you know, start with this sentence, if you like. So what you can do and continue to build on this, and there is more questions that I can leave with you that will just help you to build your purpose, the things that you're passionate about. But what it will also do, if I just move on to the next slide, this sentence can act as your elevator pitch. So when we talk about elevator pitch, it's a sentence about you that you can start to sell yourself with. Now, it's called the elevator pitch because if you were put into a lift with, I don't know, a celebrity or somebody that you would, you know, want to work with, what would be that sort of 30-second conversation that you would start with to make them want to, you know, come out of the elevator and start speaking to you a bit more? But if we relate it to interview questions, that piece, that sentence that you've just started working on about you starts to form the answer for the question, tell me about yourself. And we all struggle with that because if I said to you now, tell me about yourself, you might struggle to articulate, you know, what it is about yourself. And if we do that under the interview strain and the pressures and the fear and the anxiety that we get with interviews, that becomes a lot harder. So if you really start to invest in your elevator pitch, you can use that wherever. Okay, so the elevator pitch can then be used on your LinkedIn profile. It could start to It could be the couple of sentences on your CV about you. You can then start articulating that when you meet people. When you go to a network event, sometimes they say to you, okay, everyone's got a minute to tell us a bit about themselves and why they're here. If you go to a group and you join a group, you know, you get those questions. Who are you? Why are you here? Tell us a bit about yourself. So your elevator pitch, if you start to practice it, it will, and practice it in the mirror and practice it, you know, when I do it sometimes when I'm walking around the park and I'm walking the dog and I'm talking to myself, but because I've got my earphones in, it's I could be talking to somebody on the phone. So use what you've started today to start to you know, form your elevator pitch, and then keep building on it until you've got a stronger personal statement that you can use. And as I said, then start transferring it around to all of the platforms that you use. So the second step, what do we want to achieve in your personal brand? And it's starting to understand your objectives. You know, what do you want? What does success look like for you? You know, what's your goal? What is it? You know, you just need to earn some money, but actually you want to earn some money, but you want to be happy earning that money. You want to be going to work and being, you know, fulfilled in whatever you choose to do. You know, so start thinking about what you want to achieve and ask yourself those questions. You know, what is unique? What's the niche? You know, where can I get a job in the market? And this can work both ways. So if you wanted to set up your own business, or you're just you are selling yourself into a job interview, ask yourself the same questions. What would people like to know from me? You know, what is it that I'm doing that will appeal to that employer to say, yeah, I want them on my team? You know, what are you giving off in that interview or on your CV, because personal brand can be transferred onto paper as well? What are you giving off? You know, what are you an expert on? Okay, so start thinking about the things that you want to achieve in line. If you have a bit of a plan and what your ultimate goal is, it becomes achievable if you start writing down the steps as well. So just be clear on that. And then step 3, who is your audience? Again, this will be, your audience could be your potential employer. So you might actually rock up at an interview and there might be 3 or 4 people sitting on your panel. Okay, so it's important to think about that and just prepare yourself for it. If you're setting up your own business, you need to think about your target audience as well. So it's knowing about you. You know, again, this works with the job description. So when they put out a job description, pick out some of those things that they're actually looking for and identify with them. How can you show up giving that as an example through your personal brand? You know, ask yourself, who needs my help? Who needs my expertise more? Because you can start to build examples around things that you've done in the past then, and showing off your personal brand and how good you are in that situation and giving examples of how you did it. And that's called the STAR model, and that's something completely different. We won't hit on that today, but you might have already come across that in a different session. You know, again, it relates to the passion. You know, what are you passionate about? Because also in an interview, they're looking for you to fit into their team. So if you're passionate about football, or you've got theatre interests outside of what you do in your professional world, you know, this is a chance to talk about that too, because they're going to be thinking of you, like, and how you fit into their team. So once that's been identified, you can, you know, take that a bit deeper. And as I said, start transferring it into examples of where you demonstrated that in previous jobs. And then step 4, what makes you unique? So I've just given some examples there, and this is a really, really old one. So as I said, I did work for Mars, and when minstrels were launched, they were the chocolate that melted in your mouth and not in your hand. FedEx says, you know, when it's absolutely positively needs to be there overnight. you know, we see so many of these adverts, and they're all trying to sell themselves. You know, we get adverts on Google, and then we've got all of these like the cookies that follow us, that then once we've searched something, they will start showing us what we want to see. And this is all a form of advertising, and it's no different to your personal brand. It's how you're showing up, and what that, as I mentioned earlier, what are you going to leave them with? What's that one thing that's going to stick in their mind when you leave that building or that interview or that screen? Okay, so being specific about being able to paint a picture with a sentence. So again, this really starts at your CV level, and then it starts once they start to identify things on your CV and you are invited to interview, you will be asked questions and around your CV and what you've put there. So if you've painted a good picture on your CV, it will be transferred over to your interview skills. So yeah, your interview skills. So just think about that. And then step 5, behave like your brand. Okay, so this is the piece here that is the clothing element. So if you are a person that is fun and you know, you want to identify yourself as being that, if that is your personality, then put that into your clothes. You know, put a yellow top under a black jacket, a black blazer. You know, think about all of the things that you believe in, and then that will start portraying out as well. If you believe it in all your inner thoughts in your mindset, you will start portraying that outer as well, and not necessarily knowing that you're doing that, but actually if you start to embed that, that will just happen quite naturally. So as I said, it may be that you start looking around at websites. It may be, you know, if you're in a particular industry, start researching what that industry does, and then working on wherever you're going for an interview, you know, does that work for them? So you can ask some questions about it as well. So personal brand is working in the fact that you're being inquisitive at your interview, and you're asking questions and you're getting to know them. Some of these identify with, you know, if you are setting up your businesses as well. So if you're active on social media, you know, what types of things are you putting out there? But also remember, when you are going for an interview and the the interviewer is researching you, if they type your name in Google, what normally comes up? It's normally like your Facebook profile or your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so just be mindful of things that are out there on the website. So you might want to start sort of trying to tweak some of the things that you do on your social media, or keeping it private at a time when you are going for interviews, because you know that people are going to be researching you. This Ikigai diagram that I'm showing you now is, I'm not going to be doing this with you today, but I will forward the details on to Amandeep so she can share this with you. But this links back to your purpose. And this is something that I did as an exercise. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and it means, you know, the reason for being and purpose. Now, this is actually practiced in a Japanese village called Okinawa. And the people in this village, their life expectancy is 100 plus. Now, research shows that it's 100 plus because they are happy in what they're doing and they follow this concept. So there's a TED talk on this that I'll share with you as well, so you can go back and watch. And it's just, if you start to take this on board, it will help guide you in looking for the jobs that you are passionate about. And once you know your purpose, you can start to use this to adapt to what you're interested in. So the first one, what do we love? You know, what are you passionate about? What are you good at? But also thinking about what the world needs, and then transforming that over to what can I be paid for? Okay, so like I said, I did this a few years ago, and it really made me think about what I'm good at already, what I could transfer into a job, and actually what makes me happy. Because like I said, we're working for a long time throughout the week, the hours. So why not be choosing a job that you're really passionate about, that you don't get that dread on a Monday morning when you think, oh, I've got to go back to work. Think about this. So my recommendations would be to watch the TED Talk, and then just have a think about, where you could be looking outside of the box, not what you always tend to go for in a job.